Hi, and welcome to Courageously You with Martha. I'm Martha Davis Alexander, and this is the Going Solo Media Network, the number one internet talk show there is. Always come to Going Solo Media or Going Bold Media. Okay, we're going to start out today. I'll give you a little bit of background about me. I am a recovering attorney. I was a mediator. I'm a money breakthrough business coach and a sacred money archetype coach. I'm also a life coach. And I'm going to tell you a story. We're going to talk today about gifts from a bully. Do you believe that there are gifts in an interaction with a bully? I found at least 11 in my interaction. So in the last, say since the beginning of the year, I've been on a few retreats. At one of them, I had a really negative interaction with a mentor and someone that I've admired for a number of years. And the interaction went something like digging fingers into my arm and pulling me close, along with a friend of mine. And with anger. Have you ever felt someone's anger emanate from them? Seething anger emanating from every pore, and in the fingers, right? Saying that I had been rude by talking during a presentation. It wasn't really a presentation, but I'd been talking when I wasn't supposed to. That's not an uncommon thing for me. And it is something I do intend to work on. And that if I said a word in the next section, that person, this mentor, this person I'd held on this pedestal would grab a knife and stab me. What? And my friend. And then told us to tell another friend. What? Say what? So you would think, being a lawyer and being fairly strong-willed with 4 older brothers and 1 younger, that I would have reacted to said something, done something. I did not. I stood there appalled and stunned. And it took me probably 10 minutes to start feeling the feelings. I was, what did you say? What? Did that really just happen to me? Was that real? Did I somehow make this up? No, I didn't. I could tell by the imprint on my arms. I could tell by the expression on my friend's face. I could tell by how I felt internally. So what are the gifts from this exchange? Obviously, it wasn't in the exchange. It's in the opportunity to learn from the exchange, to really dig deep and see what's there for me. So the first thing that we did is we talked about it, my friends and I. We had a discussion about it and talked about our feelings, right? What did we feel? I was sad. I was mad. I was disappointed. I was shocked. Did I say really mad? Yeah. I felt like my heart shattered. This person that I admired and looked up to and held as kind of an idol in my world no longer fit that place. That person tumbled from that pedestal. And so perhaps the first lesson is nobody really belongs on a pedestal, right? We're all just people. We're all just doing the best we can. So the first thing that I decided, because this happened day 1 of a 3-day event, was that I would no longer participate in the event and that I would send an email saying, this didn't work for me. This was not okay. And I will no longer be around you because That doesn't work for me. I also, in that email, said, apologized for my part. Now, here's one of the lessons as well in here. And I wrote them down thinking they were in order, and evidently I'm going to go out of my own order. Bear with me. When you apologize for something, when you have done something, and I had to look at the situation. Now, I'm not saying that in all situations where there is a bully, there is something on you. So if there's a domestic violence issue, maybe the answer is to look and see, was there an earlier time that I had signs, and forgive yourself, right? For me, I played a part in the whole situation, right? I was talking when I shouldn't have been. Did I have reasons to talk? Sometimes. Someone had a headache, I was getting the Madville. Someone asked me a question, I was answering it. Was it appropriate? No, it wasn't. And I didn't offer any reasons why I was talking, because I was talking out of turn. It is a huge issue with me, and if you've watched me talk on a podcast before, you'll know I am seldom at a lack for words. What is harder for me is being quiet. So the gift in that is the lesson that I do need for me and for future events, not with this group, but in future events with other groups. I want to learn to be quiet, to sit and contemplate, or to have something to keep me occupied if my mental, or if the rat is on the, or the hamster is on the hamster wheel and can't quite settle down, something that can keep that hamster going, so that I am not saying anything. Sometimes when I was a lawyer in court, I would write notes to be quiet. So that's, I do have some coping abilities to do that. I need to choose that for myself and for others, to show respect for others. I own that. That is mine, 100%. Doesn't matter. None of the rest of it matters. So when you're making an apology to someone, own your part of it, whatever it is, without excuse, without reason, without justification, without, just own it. Own it. Own your part, deep and true. And be willing to say, that's mine. I own that, and I'm sorry. Okay? Second part of that. So the first lesson is standing up for myself, right? Saying, that was not okay with me. And while this event is important to me, it is not as important to me as I am. And this is not okay. And I will not tolerate that. I will not put myself in that position where someone that I truly respected and cared about would threaten to stab me. Would she have stabbed me in that moment, in that anger? I don't know. Would she have killed me? No. Would she have stabbed me? I don't know. She was pretty angry. So if she'd had a knife, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know how much control this person has versus, I don't know. So standing up for myself and saying, no, that wasn't okay with me. And no, I will not move further. The other thing that it did for me was heal a really old wound that I didn't even know was there. So when we came back, there were others who wanted to go to an event. It was a pretty important event for all of us, and others wanted to go. And my view and I'm going to be vulnerable and openly tell you what my view was. It was wrong, just so you know. I understand that, and this is what healed an old wound for me. I believed, and I've gotten caught in it a couple of times in my life as an adult, and I had not yet healed this. I had had the opportunity a couple of times to recognize it and heal it, and I had not. This time I took the opportunity to heal this wound. So I fully believed that if the people I was with supported me, that they would not go to, that was a line. That being done by the leader of this was a line in the sand that then we couldn't cross in order to be truthful with each other. And I expected that support. Well, one person saw that as a line in the sand for her, and she agreed, and we didn't go together. Some of the others did go, and I was pretty upset about that. Was I right to be upset? Well, sure, I get a right to my feelings. And I really had to think about it. So here's what that stems from for me. When I was young, my parents got divorced, and my mom left, and I stayed with my dad. So my mom, let's just use the word for I felt like my mom abandoned me. It was the hardest thing my mom did. Now, keep in mind, I see my mom now as innocent in doing the best she can. And I forgive her for her. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I digress. So when my dad remarried, I was 8. My parents got divorced when I was 7. Both my parents remarried when I was 8. And my dad turned over pretty much control of the household to his new wife, which is fine and good. And she and I struggled to develop a relationship that worked. And we struggled hard at it. There were some times that it was really, really, really difficult. Really difficult for both of us. And sometimes when she was talking to me, I expected and felt like my dad should stand up for me and defend me right then and there. And what my dad would do is go down to his office. But he would just walk away and leave me in a situation that I had never expected to be in, right? At least the first time. And that left an anger and resentment in me. Now, why haven't I looked at that before? Seriously. My mom left. My dad was the one who stayed with me, who wanted me, who whatever. And saying my dad did anything wrong has for 53 years been a very difficult thing for me. I normally don't recognize when my father was wrong. He has passed now. That is not something that I would normally recognize. So now I have kind of the similar situation, and these feelings are, why aren't they standing with me in this situation? Well, in truth, they did. They did it their way, right? They went, they shared why we weren't there, and said their piece about why it wasn't okay. Well, hey, Regina, nice to see you. So I had this really old wound from my dad, and I needed to take it out and say, wow, I didn't even know. I mean, I knew that was one of the things that really pissed me off about my dad. There are very few things, but I didn't realize it was so deeply rooted in me that then I would expect or put it on other people that is what defending me means. That's what standing by me meant to me, because that's what I didn't get as a kid. That's really interesting. So I had the opportunity to look at that and to finally put that to rest. That is a huge gift. A huge gift to become aware and to understand that support and standing by you can take many, many different forms. It could be people saying, this is for me, I'm going for me, but this is how I stand by you. This is how I protect you. There's so many different ways that someone can stand by you and protect you. And for me, I'd put that in the one little box that I didn't get, that's what I needed. So many different ways. So it opened up, another gift is it opened up a whole new level of trust for me to feel for other people, right? For these friends, a whole new level of trust that I may not know exactly what support looks like, but I know what it feels like. I don't have all the solutions and all the different ways someone can support me. And I know what it feels like when someone does support me. And when someone shows up, doesn't have to be my way. And that released so much for me. Can you see how that would make such a huge difference in just who I am and in how I stand on the earth, right? So that was another gift. So now let me put on my glasses to let you to say, the other thing it did was it allowed me to forgive. It allowed me to see the innocence in a bully, to have compassion for where this person is, and to say with honesty and truth, I forgive you for the innocence. It allowed for forgiveness, for me to release that and not hold on to it, right? So sometimes something happens and we stay stuck in that. This person did this to me. And this could be a whole different podcast, right? I could be talking about how horrible that was. Didn't feel good. And I forgave. I accepted the apology. I accepted the apology and I moved on. To see someone else's innocence and to be able with compassion to say, I accept the apology, is an amazing gift to yourself because it sets you free. I am now free of that. I don't have any illusions. I don't have any, there's nobody on a pedestal. There's no, we are simply human beings, and I can forgive and move forward. Now, let me say another thing about forgiveness that I learned, and this is another gift. When I forgave, it was then assumed that I was coming back into the fold. That appeared to be the assumption. Here's the thing. An apology sets me free. Accepting someone's apology sets me free. It does not change my power or my ability to set boundaries on what I am going to do moving forward. An apology isn't an instant, oh yeah, now we're best friends again. No. It doesn't happen that way. I'm going to put you back on the pedestal again. No. It doesn't happen that way. So I got the opportunity to determine, where are my boundaries now? What is it I want to move forward with this situation now? Do I still want to be in the same, in a similar circle? No. Do I want to be a part of that? Will I go to something else this person It is the leader of, no, I won't. I won't. And here's some reasons why, right? Here's the other thing, the other gift that I receive from this. I was told at some point by many, many, many people after this had happened and the word got out that this is not uncommon, that this has happened before. Maybe not the exact words, but it has happened before. And that this person can be vicious. What? Where was I many years back that nobody told me this, that this wasn't, there were some signs, right, that I ignored, made excuses for, and overlooked intentionally, right? I chose to overlook some of the signs. And what do you mean? Where is everybody else stuck in accepting that behavior? So here's the lesson in that. When a group continues to accept behavior of a leader, and you can see this in politics, you can see this in any number of things, right? In our society. But when we accept something, right, and we don't, and someone doesn't take a stand saying, no, that doesn't work, that's not okay with me, that behavior becomes the norm. It becomes acceptable. It becomes mainstream. And there is no sign for the person, the bully, to change. There isn't a wake-up call. It is a gift to stand up to a bully because that is their opening. That is their window opening to change, saying, this isn't okay. You need to explore this in your heart. And maybe the bully will take that opportunity. Maybe the person who says something that's gaslighting or bullying will take the opportunity to hear your words and to make a change. That is on them. That is their choice. The gift you give them is the window and the opportunity to see and to heal and to change and to make something better. When you allow something to just happen, 30 years can go by and it gets worse, right? And people don't speak up. So the gift to the bully in defending yourself is a gift not only to yourself, right? It's a gift for the person and for the group to have an opening into what are we doing moving forward? What are we willing to do moving forward? And healing and forgiveness and change comes with that. It has the opportunity to come with that. And how important is that? That's a gift. It's a gift to everyone involved. So what's another one? It's okay to cry. I cried and cried and cried, right? I am not a cry girl. I'm not a let's feel my emotions kind of girl. I think a lot of people pleasers, a lot of kids of divorce are like that. We don't feel our feels because that it just isn't safe to feel our feels. So I cried, I vented, I cried some more. And at some point, I had to think to myself, am I crying because I still need to cry? Am I crying because I'm wallowing in this shocking moment, right? In this shock. Am I wallowing? Because it doesn't really help me very much to wallow in the emotions. I want to feel the emotion and then I want to move through the emotion. right? I want to move through it to, through the anger, through the shock, through the appalled, through the, my role model, my person that I have held so high isn't there anymore, right? I want to feel those feelings, the resentment, the hurt, all of it. I want to feel it. And then I want to say, now what do I want to do? What do I want to do to move through this? How do I want to show up in this situation? What do I need? And then what steps do I need to take to show up? For me, that was meditating, right? I felt the emotions. I meditated. I moved through them. And I had to decide, how do I want to show up? I want to show up as the type of person who says, no, that's not okay for me. This is the end. And I am going to make that in the form of a written communication, because, y'all know I'm a recovering attorney. So if I'm going to do something, it's more than likely going to be in writing. Okay, that's great. It worked out fine. I did all of that. I moved through it. With the group. We had group discussions about what it meant to each of us. Others asked me questions. I answered them. And this person isn't a villain. I just want you all to hear. This person had a moment, lost control of anger, and made a stupid comment, right? It was a stupid thing to say. I can look past that. I can forgive that. I can understand that with compassion and with love. I can't go back into that because I know there's history, and I don't choose that. I will allow a time, maybe there will come a time I'll go back, but it will be a good period of time until I am pretty sure that that part is under control, because I don't want to do it again. I respect myself too much to put myself in that place. And that was a gift to me too. To be able to say I respect myself too much to be put back in that situation. Right? I can love her, them, and I can have it. So the other thing I learned is that while I am an accomplished healer, I do inner child work and I do some other work healing my own stuff in this. I have some blind spots. So I reached out to the healer that I choose to work with, Cheryl Stout, and she helped me heal the rest of what I had in there that was still kind of gunky and stuck, so that we could move that energy out and that I could be at peace and be okay, and that I could move forward. How beautiful is that? How beautiful is it to go from a I'm going to stab you moment to I'm at peace and it's okay. And having all those gifts in between that I could learn and grow and be a part of something bigger. It really was an amazing experience for me. Let me summarize the gifts for you. If anyone is in the audience and you have questions, I'm more than happy to answer your questions. Regina, if you're still here, you have a question, let me know. Cece, if you have a question, whatever question anyone has, I'm more than happy to answer, except for the name. I will not do that. So I stood up for myself. I don't always do that. I have been a people pleaser for more years than I have not, right? I'm 60, I'll be 61 in a month. I have been a people pleaser for at least 54 of those years. I have been a people pleaser. And this time I stood up for myself and said no. As a people pleaser, I don't really set boundaries very often, right? I go with the flow, and I would have simply continued to go and felt icky about myself for not standing up for myself, right? I would have had more forgiveness that I needed to work on with me for myself. Now I have to forgive myself. I had to forgive myself for talking when I shouldn't have, for doing what I did to help put this whole thing in motion. Um, and I have done that. And I stood up for myself, and I set boundaries that said, this won't make me feel good to be a part of this anymore. And this isn't someone that right now I choose to learn from. Um, Man, this person has so much to give and so much to offer and so much wisdom. But for me right now, that's not where I can be. That's just not where I can be. So I learned that. I learned that there are so many different ways to support someone. That doesn't have to, support for me doesn't have to look like what I think it should look like, right? There's so many, as many as there are different people in the world, there are different ways to support. And my friend showed me that. Each of them supported me in a different way. And all of it felt like support and love, and we've got your back. There isn't just one way for that. So if you're in an experience, and be open to that. Are there other ways to support you? Are there other ways that it's okay, right? Are you open to there being another answer to that? Now there is, unless you stand up, people make the same mistake over and over and over and over and over again. Unless you stand up, it becomes the norm. So if there's a way, and it does take courage. It takes standing in your own truth, standing in stability and who you are, and standing in confidence. And if as a people pleaser you don't have that, this is your opportunity to search for that, right? This is your opportunity to say, she was a people pleaser, and she found the confidence, and she knows how to stand in her truth, and she isn't a people pleaser. She doesn't just let things happen, right? She makes choices, sets boundaries, makes it okay for herself. I develop more trust with people that I know, love, and already trust. The trust went deeper. It is deeper. It was painful. I gotta tell you, it was painful. And there were moments I wanted to grab my ball and go home. Such a childish reaction, I know. But it's how sometimes we feel, right? I want to grab my ball and go home. I'm hurt. I wanna go into my cave and lick my own wounds. And that's not what I did. It's what I wanted to do. It's not what I did, right? You don't have to go home and lick your wounds. You can find someone, and with the support of other people, your wounds heal faster and you can move forward more productively, right? It's okay to cry and feel your feels. And when you realize that perhaps you're overfeeling your feels, that you're still in something and it's maybe been okay and you're recycling feelings, maybe it's time to look and see, am I done feeling my feels? Am I just wallowing now? What can I do to move forward? When you want to move forward, here are the steps you're going to take. You're going to say, wow, these are the things that I'm feeling. What are they? Name them. Name the feels. Feel the feels. And then decide, who are you? How do you want to show up? How do you want to remember yourself showing up? How are you going to show up with no regrets? Right? How are you going to show up with no regrets? And then what steps or what action do you need to take in order to move forward? What are those things? Is it apologizing? Is it giving the other person an opportunity to apologize? Is it accepting an apology? What is it? What are the things that you want to do to move forward? And then, by God, reach out. If there's still a hint of feeling or residue of something that hasn't healed, reach out to someone you know who's a healer, or someone you've heard about who's a healer, and finish that process off so that you can be free of the entire thing. And it can be gifts. You can see the gifts, the opportunity for the growth, the healing, the change in your life that you want. I received huge gifts in this situation. And I am grateful and appreciate the gifts and the opportunities that I have had this year to grow through this experience and to heal some old stuff, heal some new stuff, reset my boundaries. It was an amazing, amazing opportunity for me. And I am grateful. Thank you so much, you guys, for listening to my story. If you have any questions or comments, don't hesitate to reach out to me, Martha Davis Alexander. You can reach me at 805-422-6865. Yes, that is a cell number, and you can text me. Or at marthadalexander@gmail.com. I always love emails from you guys. Or you can reach me at courageouslyyoucoaching.com. That's COURAGEOUSLYYOUCOACHING.com. And again, my email is marthalexander@gmail.com. And I am here on Going Solo Media Network. Oh, you're so welcome, Regina. I'm so glad you stayed. Thank you. Regina says it was very powerful. Thank you, Regina. It was an amazing experience for me. I am here every Thursday at 3 p.m. Pacific. That means 4 p.m. Mountain. That means 5 p.m. Central and 6 p.m. Eastern. And I got to tell you, I would love to have you here. We are live weekly. I love to see the comments. And this is WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network. There's a Facebook page, there's a YouTube, and you can always watch reruns. This has been Courageously You with Martha. And until next time, bye-bye. Be courageous.